Thanks so much for joining me. Today we are trying out 5 new 5-star products from Nordstrom Beauty. Just like the Sephora version of this, I looked at the Nordstrom Beauty website and I picked 5-star items that are new. So it had to say new and be 5-star at the time of purchase. One of the first things is this La Prairie concealer and foundation. I was trying to get a handle on what was actually new about this. It looks like it's newly reformulated and it looks like there are new shades from what I could tell. If you know more, please let me know. I picked up one of these Valentino products. It's the Liquoroso, but I also think it's new shades, not necessarily a new product after I dug further. We've got some new eyeshadow sticks by Trish McAvoy. I also forgot I was gonna try this. Maybe we can try this because we are in the middle of a wear test here. It's the Sizzly Phyto Lip Balm. It's the pink one. Oh yeah, and this one looked fascinating to me. It's a blurring serum blush. Let's go ahead and get started. And we'll also, I think, try to do a wear test. Let's see how it goes. Going in first with the La Prairie, it's the concealer and the foundation. So it has a stand like this and then a brush. And I was trying this out the other day. If you saw my vlog, I talked about this is the one product I actually put on my face to try because I was really excited about it. I'd been shade matched in store. And then when I tried this on, I thought this looks different. It looks a lot lighter. And then I went back and I looked and this is NW30. And I believe what I actually tried on was W30. So now I have to get, I think, the right shade because you can see this definitely is neutral. It's cooler. It's a lot lighter than my skin tone. And the reason I'm adding the concealer, I'm just taking a little bit of this, is because it says you can apply above, on top of, or under foundation. So this is what we're gonna do first. Actually, I go for a more neutral concealer because it can cancel out some of this darkness. However, I think it's a little too light, but we're gonna just try for texture purposes and for wear purposes. We're gonna try and do a wear test here. I mean, the coverage is pretty good. It reminds me of the opacity of something like Clé de Peau. So yeah, conceals really well. We're gonna see. It did say it was an under eye concealer, which I don't use the Clé de Peau concealer for under eye because it is so thick. I prefer more lightweight concealers under the eye. Actually, my favorite one right now is the one by Chanel, their under eye concealer. I haven't primed either. I'm usually BD41 Chanel foundation best match. And one thing I am gonna try to do is to shake this because I looked at the directions for this product and it talked about shaking this. I mean, it looks like it would be a good match, but then, like I said, I tried this once before I took a shower just to see if it was a shade match because I couldn't remember and it looked too light. It also looked really drying on my skin, but I hadn't done any skincare at all. Oh, that reminds me, I did go in with this, the samples that it came with. So I used the Skin Caviar Eye Lift and I used the Skin Caviar Luxe Eye Cream. So I did try those out today under the eyes. I wanted to prep really well also because of that experience I had when I didn't have any skincare on. It was kind of catching some dry spots, but I have moisturized really well. I used the CHANTECAILLE Gold Moisturizer, which is probably my most moisturizing moisturizer. So this is a nice little brush, but we're gonna go in with the foundation next. So let me just shake this really well. The foundation comes like this. Yeah, just looking at it, looks like it would be the correct shade match. And let's just add it here first. Yeah, it's a little too light, but it does talk about adding foundation to the center first, like nose, forehead. There isn't much actually on this foundation on the site. I tried to look for application tips or any other information. There is a little bit that I found. I'm trying to see if it has a scent. It smells a little bit like skincare, and I'm fairly new to La Prairie in general, so let me know what you know about La Prairie. You would think I would have tried it, but I don't know, never have. So there, it looks like more of my shade. It's got a warmth to it, even though it's neutral. Not neutral, it's warm and neutral. It's gonna be light. Let's just know that it's gonna be light, but let's see if it oxidizes at all or interacts after I wear it for a little bit. It does have SPF 15 and maybe that's what I'm smelling. But I would not rely on the SPF in here for SPF. I would put an SPF down under it if I was going to go out. Actually, I prefer a lighter correct undertone versus the actual depth of my skin color and the wrong undertone. I'd rather go lighter correct undertone. And you know what? It's getting, I don't know if it's SPF. It's giving me a white cast in the viewfinder, but not here, which is interesting. That's with concealer under. Let's do this with no concealer under and see what coverage we get. It feels really lightweight. I'm having a better experience with this with proper skincare underneath versus when I just kind of haphazardly tried it. It's catching a little bit here on some dryness. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. Let me know if you have dryness and does it catch on those places? Maybe it will look better over time. Granted, I am using some tretinoin now and it is peeling slightly, so it's a little drier on the surface than typical. This is a lighter layer than over here. Yeah, it's very mask-like right now. Huh. It's sitting on the skin a bit. We'll give it a chance though to try and meld with the skin. But it could be a similar experience to something like the Hermes. When I tried that one on, it was the wrong shade. And then it was like one of the things I loved the least. And then I don't know what compelled me to try it in a deeper shade in 50 Palomino. And it was so much better. It actually became one of my favorite foundations. So I don't know if that's the case with this as well, that just having it this off is changing my perception or influencing my perception of it in terms of performance. Not really meshing with my skin per se. And this one has so many high ratings. Oh, so I'm putting the concealer on top this time. I did not prime, so let me lean in. That's how it looks. Can you see? I don't know if you can see. It's very minor, but yeah, you can see there's definitely something off about the color. But let's try to get past that and look at how it is either meshing or not. I mean, the glow actually looks very skin-like. I'm looking at it in the viewfinder. It looks very skin-like. Let's look in real life. It's very skin-like, except it's a little bit sitting on the skin here. Why? But the concealer looks nice. Does remind me of the Clé de Peau concealer. Okay, so I think I'm going to conceal the rest here. It's about 11, can you see there? It's about 11 o'clock. I don't know if you can see, almost 11 o'clock. I'm not going to powder, but I'll come back with brows done and then let's move ahead with the other products and see if we need to powder. Brows make a huge difference. I went in with the Jones Road Beauty Brow Pencil in light brunette and then their brow gel, Jones Road Beauty again, in clear. So I really am enjoying that more full but not super bold brow. So I did look up some of the benefits of the La Prairie and it says helps support skin's firmness and elasticity. So there are skincare benefits in here. Natural looking coverage of under eye darkness and imperfections. So I was just looking for something else and I found this. Do we remember this? I love this. It's the Skin Caviar Perfect Concealer. This is beautiful. I still cannot find something that compares with this. So I was expecting some really wonderful things from this product here. This one. And it looks good on camera. I really do. I think it looks skin-like. I think if it was the right shade, it'd look really wonderful. But up close, let me lean again. And I know it's not the right shade, so maybe it's not the most fair assessment, but it is not meshing with my skin well right now. Superficially though, I think it looks really nice. We'll just keep working around this and working with it, but I feel like at this price point, it should be pretty effortless. This is what I'm trying to contend with now. It should be quite effortless and it shouldn't take so much work to make it work. But again, I'm not sure if it's the shade. So I might have to just try my shade or try a different shade or get a better shade match next time and try it again. We'll look at wear and see if it's even worth trying it again. Okay, so let's take this Ray Morris Deluxe Kabuki and use my Chanel palette. Anytime I have a foundation that's too light like this, but again, it's not super off of the center of my face. It really has a lot to do with the perimeter. So I'm gonna take my Chanel palette. This is in light coral and I just looked and I saw that it was sold out again. So we will see if I can find it for you somewhere else. But there's the bronzer. I'm gonna bronze really quickly. I know they say bronzer should not be used to adjust foundation, but I do it all the time on the perimeter. I do like to use this instead of using 2 foundations, which sometimes I have to do because I have so many different shades on my face, even 3 foundations. This really is a nice solution for me. So you can see right here that it's starting to look like it's not super off. Here, if I didn't do anything, it just looks off. Do the other side, and I still have not powdered the center. I'm not going to. I've actually been enjoying not powdering, surprisingly. And then we'll add we'll do the eye and then the blushes and then the lip. Okay, so as you can see, bronzer helps so much, which is why when they say bronzer should not be used to help deepen foundation, I don't totally agree with that. Now, interestingly enough, this foundation by itself was not meshing with my skin, but once I put this powder on, it's like there's no foundation under it. So I don't really understand this foundation right now. So that is very unique. Something I haven't seen before where foundation isn't meshing with the skin, and then once a powder product is applied, it does mesh with the skin, unless, however, there is something in this powder product that is helping it mesh. I don't know if you can see now, let me just lean in. It looks, yeah, the right shade, but also it looks like I'm not wearing foundation underneath. Also, I'm noticing that this concealer is not settling into pores. And I like this. Actually, I would go out with this finish right now, the way it is. Look at the forehead too. It looks like I don't have on foundation. So let me know what your experience again is with this. This is a new to me experience, and we're just gonna keep going though. So I picked up these Trish McAvoy. They come in these. And I used to have her, that like notebook thing where you had all of the shades in there. It was kind of nice and compact. But I saw that these got really nice ratings, these eyeshadow sticks. And I don't really love these shades that I picked up because they look so different online. So let's just go in with Shell first, because I was thinking this might be a nice lid color, but it's very, like, it's matte and it's pink. But, oh, wait a minute. But I thought maybe we could just do a sheer. Oh, maybe this is gonna do what I needed to. I wanted like a sheer layer on the eye, kind of just like a eye primer almost, to just even out the skin tone, which now, actually that looks kind of nice, doesn't it? And then let's try it under, because you know how I'm always looking for things to brighten this area. I love Trench, Victoria Beckham. But maybe if you are more like cool toned and you have this issue, because I know Trench is actually not super light, this might be an interesting choice. We'll try it. We'll do a little wear test here as well. Wow, that really changes the whole way my eye looks. It actually makes it look a little bit smaller. The consistency is nice though. It's really hard, I think, with mattes to create an eye pencil that isn't patchy. I've noticed in the past any mattes that I've tried can tend to be patchy. It's going on really smoothly, actually, really evenly. So if you're looking for something like this, like a base or a primer, that might be interesting to use. Let's go underneath as well. This foundation though is not, it's not blending amazingly well. Yeah, I'm just really confused about this foundation. And then let's go in with this one, which I really don't think I love. If you love rose gold, you might love this. This one arrived melted, so we had some issues with this. Like, that's why it looks like this, because it was melted and then it got stuck in the cap. If you live in a warmer climate, maybe wait to order this because it might have the same issue. This is the shade Bliss. I thought this was gonna be a little bit more subtle. So this is not the shade I wanted. I don't know how I ended up with this. I think maybe I clicked the wrong thing or it didn't look the same online, but this is actually quite subtle. And actually I was looking for that. I just wanted a subtle glow, like a no makeup thing. Actually, this is nicer on than I thought it would be. Just a little pinky glow. This is going better than I had anticipated. So far, these are very nice, like better than I thought. So I'm gonna add some mascara and then we'll see if we need to put anything in the crease area, or let's see how it looks. But I'm gonna go with CHANTECAILLE's Faux Longest Lash Mascara. And as always, mascara makes the biggest difference. So actually, I'm a little bit surprised to say that I kind of like this eye. It's pink, yes, but it's like a cooler pink. It's very subtle. It's very subtle. So can you see there? I have to say that this foundation is looking better the longer I wear it. So maybe it's one of those kinds of foundations that doesn't immediately look amazing on, but once you give it some time, it looks better. I mean, it looks really skin-like. So I went ahead and I added just a little bit more concealer just to see if I could build it up, and it looks good right now. Let's see what happens with this next step though, because we are going to go in with the blush. So I've got 2 blush products. Actually, I just wanted to do this one, this Valentino, which now that I'm looking at it, I think I realized that they only have some shades that are new. I don't think this is a new shade though, but we'll try it. I don't know, I haven't tried it before. The Liquoroso. But let's do this first because this is and I haven't purchased anything from this brand in a long time, but I liked the idea. So it's Anastasia Beverly Hills Blurring Serum Blush. Okay, so a few things about this blush. This is a shade Guava. What I really want to see is it going to blur the texture here in the front where I have pores. So, and then let's see if it disrupts this foundation as well. So going in with this Clé de Peau brush, it's really bright looking. So I'm gonna use it up here on this part of my cheek first. It's a little bit lighter than I normally would go for, but also the one that's a little bit deeper didn't look like the right tone for me. Blush is kind of interesting that once you work it in, it can surprisingly work. Really, it's up here that I want to see how this works. Is it going to blur? Because I love the idea of liquid blushes, cream blushes, but I've got texture and I also get oily up here, and I have usually concealer up here that I don't want it to really disturb. So those are the reasons I wanted to pick this up and see how it went. I like the glow on the exterior though, so really it is mainly for the interior of my face. So I'm wondering if we can layer these. Let's see how it goes. Just dipping. So a little goes a long way because that is a lot of blush for this look right here. It's as if it has a mattifying primer property to it. It is not glowy. So then that makes me wonder, can I mix in primer myself? Like, where's my Chanel? I've got a Chanel mattifying primer. The one in the black, maybe I'll put a little image here so you can see what I'm talking about. There's a mattifying primer that I really like. So what if I mix that myself with other like cream blushes? I'd be curious. So if you're looking for a cream blush that almost has a dry down, like a powdery feel, like it was powdered, but it wasn't powdered. Interesting. It did disrupt this concealer a little bit. You can see a little bit of darkness there. Can we take care of it? I don't know. But this is almost like not having to powder up in front. Really nice. Really nice dry down there. Definitely have some discoloration showing through. So I'm gonna have to play with this concealer. There's a lot of experimenting today. I hope you enjoy this. Yeah, these are definitely just first impressions. This is how I normally would go through makeup when I try it, just this experiment. Let's try this Valentino, the Liquoroso, that's very hard to say. The shade here is 151. So let's go in with this Valentino on this side. This one is a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? Nuanced. It meshes with the skin a little bit better. It's easier to control. There's so very little coming out of this though. Having to work to get the product out. So you can see the color there. It also has like not a glowy texture either. Okay, let's bring this all the way up to the front. They actually kind of do a similar thing. They both have a dry down to them. It kind of does the opposite of what liquid blushes usually do, which is give a nice glow to the face. So they have a dry down, both of these, interestingly, but there is a more of a subtle appearance, a little bit easier to build this one up versus this one. It's pretty bold right away, the Anastasia Beverly Hills. Okay, let's add this as a lip. Now, it does have this doe foot applicator that's a pointed thing, but I don't like to use this brush on my lips and then on my cheeks. Yeah, if I was just gonna use this on the lips, I would directly apply it, but I'm not going to. I'm gonna be using it on my cheeks as well. So let's see. Okay, I've added the lip and you can see here, both of these did in the end disrupt the concealer. I'll try to conceal again, and then I think I like this side maybe to go with the lip a little bit more. So here we are. Let me just lean in and then I'm gonna fix it because I don't love the way everything is looking right now. Can you see the foundation Like, I am seeing that it's kind of moving around. Okay, I did not powder. So let me see what I can do about evening this out. Maybe I need to add this blush over here first to even it out, and then I'll go and work with the concealer. Let's even this out. Okay, this is not as effortless as I wanted it to be. It's a little bit effortful, or I don't know what's the opposite of effortless, but it's taking a lot of effort. I don't know, can you see here? The foundation is kind of falling apart. So let me try this because I used that brush. Maybe that was not the best brush to use. I don't know. Don't know what I am doing wrong here. Let me know if you have this foundation and you love it. Let me know what I'm doing wrong because I feel like it should not be this complicated. Even though it's a cream, it comes across as like a liquid almost. Okay, so I'm gonna apply it with my hands this time. This is where it's falling apart, right here. I haven't powdered either. Yeah, can you see? Well, let's just leave it there, and then I gotta film an intro and outro. We'll also do some check-ins. It's been about an hour since I applied this initially. That's how long I've been working on this makeup, which should not have taken this long. Let me film an intro and then we'll do a bit of a check-in. Okay, so I've done my hair. Here's check-in number 1. It's not very much. It's like 30 minutes later. I just ran the Dyson through it. I mean, at this point, if I was going to wear this out, I would want to start over. Actually, I like the eye. I like the simplicity of the eye. I think it just gives a little bit of a glow. But this, I want to take right now, I want to take my Le Beige Water Fresh Tint and then just emulsify this all. And we can do this maybe at the end if you want to see what that looks like. This is such a great fix-it kind of tool that I've used for so many things. I've used it to just spot correct if there's something that's funny happening. I can break up the makeup and then just redistribute it and it looks a lot better. Because right here, that's where I added a little more. Let me see. It's getting close. It's really having a hard time right here around the mouth. Granted, yes, I do have some dry spots right over here. I'm not having issues with my skin here. Here, that dryness though, it's not helping. But I see it's a little in the crease here a little bit, and we only had this on for, where's my phone? Like an hour and a half. We'll check in later, and then maybe at the end of the day we can try this because I've been really enjoying it, especially for the warmer months. We'll give this some time. I've got on my workout gear here. I'm gonna work out in a little bit. So we actually are gonna have this test go a little bit longer, but this has been a very interesting foundation to observe. I don't see that it's a lot lighter than my skin tone in real life here, but what I am seeing is just this catching this dryness here. And I think it is my skin peeling, so that might, again, not be the most fair assessment of it. But it really does have a glow to it that looks skin-like, especially when not powdered. And it stayed in place for the most part here. I was wearing sunglasses though, so that usually gets displaced. Here, there's a little bit of settling where I can have some settling, but it's not also oily, and it was really hot outside. So we went out to run some errands. We went to the grocery store. My husband actually filled up the car, and it was really hot while we were doing that. So it did fairly well, but you can see here, it's coming apart. Let's see if I can just move that into place. Another thing that I did not try, the lip balm and by now the Valentino. I've eaten several times since then, and I realized I don't have that. I don't have the packaging. Yeah, I thought I had a different sizzly lipstick I could have tried with this, but let's see how this looks. And it looks really chapped. So this feels really nice. And like I said, it's the it's in my bag, but I'll put a little link for the blue one here that I've been using. So that's why I got this, because I've been enjoying the Prada one. I don't think it really gives me that much pinkiness, but just gave it a slight amount of color. So that's why I thought, let's try the one by Cils and see how it goes. Oh yeah, let's take a look at the eyes as well. So the eye area did not do as well with concealer. You can see there's a little bit of bunching up there, creasing right here, just a slight amount. Nothing horrible, but I can see it. So if we just go like this, if we take a little bit of, so I have the CHANTECAILLE Rose Glow Face Tint. Let's just put a little bit of this underneath to see if we can refresh that. Sheer Glow Rose Face Tint. This one right here. I'm just taking a little bit of that and putting it under my eye to kind of refresh that area and see if it made it smoother. looks much better, much smoother, more skin-like. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna work out right now. I'll show you what it looks like after I work out. I feel like it's probably gonna look the same just because I'm not gonna get much hotter than I was when we were out running errands, but I'll show you. And then I'll show you how this works, because it's been a while, where I can refresh makeup by using this. It'll break up the makeup and then kind of reset it. I'll show you how this little trick works if you haven't seen that before. But it does, I've got to say, it looks really nice skin-wise on my skin. And then I'll talk about all the other products while we're doing the refresh when I come back. Final check-in for the day. We are at almost 8 p.m. So this is almost 9 hours of wear. And it looks really different than it looked when I first applied it. It was very mask-like when I first applied it. It remained very skin-like, but I never powdered it. But it's interesting, I didn't powder it and it didn't move around. Let me do this trick though that I wanted to try with you and see if it works with this foundation as well. So anytime my makeup does this, where it's sitting on the skin or it breaks apart, like let's look before I do this, a final check on this foundation. Yeah, I have some dry skin that it caught on here. Can you see right there? Sitting a little bit on top here, but here it's not sitting on the skin like it was initially. Let me know what your experience has been with this product. I wish I had tried the previous version, if indeed this was reformulated, to compare, because then I would have had a little bit of a better frame of reference for how this performed versus the previous version. So what I'm doing though is I'm taking this Water Fresh Tint by Chanel. This is in medium plus, and I'm just working it into the skin. So if ever I run into an issue, like what I wanted to do first was I just wanted to go in with this and break up this makeup and re-emulsify everything and see if we can get it to look a little bit more one with the skin. Because I was seeing that it was sitting on top, and this does a really nice job of just breaking up makeup and then redistributing it a little bit more evenly, and it's doing that. So my thoughts about the foundation, La Prairie, I wish I had a different shade, but let's get beyond that. The initial application kind of sat on my skin, which was surprising. Yeah, it didn't mesh with the skin immediately, and this is actually right here going to be a good test to see if it was my skin or the product, because if I see the same way of just sitting on top of the skin with this, then we'll know it's more my skin than the product. Let's do half and then you can see. It's much smoother here now that I've put that Water Fresh tint on. I liked the Cils though, this balm, so add it again. So hopefully you can see the difference between something like the Water Fresh tint, which does a nice job of really working nicely, especially if there are dry patches, what that looks like compared to over here where there was some kind of breaking up. Of course, this is a fresher application. This is something you do with a Water Fresh tint if you haven't done that before, is kind of reset makeup. CHANTECAILLE Rose Glow Face Tint. So back to the foundation though. It did have a nice skin-like appearance to it, which I really liked. I think I would not powder this amazingly because it didn't necessarily break up here in the front in the concealer area or the concealed area, although we did go over it with some blush products that may have impacted that. Under the eye, it was okay, but I have better under eye concealers. I mean, it didn't compete with the other product I showed you that I have by La Prairie. This concealer is really beautiful, so I wouldn't put it on the same par with that, but I do think you can see here, especially the pores where it resets versus here. I don't know, should I try another shade in the La Prairie? Let me know. Or do you have the same experience with it kind of sitting on the skin? So that's was a little surprised about that, since it is skincare infused, that it would look like it was sitting on the skin. But then it kind of meshed with the skin, and then it looked like the color was very close. Like I said, I just think for the price point, it would be more effortless. So first impression, it was okay. And it wore a little bit better than I had expected it to, but it's not something I would be pulling for. I think I might have to give it another try. So let me know what you think. I'm left with a about this product. I'd be willing to try it again, but I'm not sure right now, as it stands with this color, it's not something I would be pulling for, but it had some redeeming qualities, and then it looked skin-like and it wore really well, but it still didn't totally mesh with the skin. I was pleasantly surprised by these. There's a little bit of creasing though. Do you see that there? And I don't know if it's because I doubled up on them, but a nice product overall. This cheek product had promise because I wanted a little bit of a blurry effect, but it was also competing with concealer. Moved the concealer around and then you could see through it. It just didn't do that for me, but I think for a blurring aspect, it did a nice job. And then we had this Valentino product, which turns out the shades are new, but I don't think this is a new shade. Was a little too satiny because I feel like here's a really nice chance to glow on the cheeks. It's a different look though. It's more like a cloud kind of makeup look. I think that's what it's called, where it's kind of soft and a little bit satiny and more on the matte side. Yeah, it has like a matteness to it versus something like this. It's the Water Fresh blush that I really like. This is the finish that I enjoy in a more of a, like, I feel like if you're gonna go with a liquid blush, then go with something that's going to bring about some kind of plumpness in the skin. And then I really didn't love how it looked on my lip. I prefer more of a glossy lip, so that was probably not the best person to test this out. And then I really like this Sizzly product. Out of the 5 new 5-star products that are available on Nordstrom as of the time I purchased them, I don't know if any of them really are 5s. I feel like I was more impressed with the Sephora 5 new 5-star items on Sephora. Those products are things I've been using over and over again. These are not items that I can see myself pulling for over and over again. But even though these didn't work for me, let me know if they worked for you, and if were there any application tips that you could give us that could help improve the performance of these. And maybe I did apply them in a way that wasn't going to bring the best out of the products. Let me know. I always love to learn from you. But you can see here, even just with this little bit of Water Fresh tint and Water Fresh blush, how much better this side looks. In my opinion, it looks better, like healthier, less makeup-y for the summer, which I enjoy. So I'll definitely do this look for you because I'm gonna wear it anyway tomorrow. And it is one of the things I get excited about putting on. So we're gonna do that together, especially since my dark spots are looking so much better. And also let me know what 5-star products on Nordstrom Beauty you love, because I would love to try those out as well. But that is it for today's video, so please take care of each other, stay well. If you enjoyed this video, if you learned something, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you next time.